Okay, so I'm going to talk about my secret system for generating weekly cash flow with options. This is a real account right here I want to show you that started out over here around $100, actually $100 exactly in June, okay? And it's increased by 1,394. So you can see that at 1 cent. So that is exactly $100, right? And it's a total of 1,394%, which is just a phenomenal ROI in just under 6 months. So I want to show you exactly how this works and how you can do it. And it's super, super simple. So please don't get overwhelmed. Don't think, oh, this is crazy. This is not possible. Say, oh, okay, it's easy. And I teach this. And so, yeah, this actually is pretty simple. So here we go. It's a high probability options trade. I do one trade a week initially because there's only $100. That's all you can really do. But as you increase your account, then it eventually gets to one trade a day. And it's primarily using debit and credit spreads. Now, as your account grows, you're going to want to change your strategy, but this is just the high speed system initially. And as high speed as it is, it's actually pretty safe. And we're targeting about 1% a week. But again, that keeps increasing as time goes on. And it takes about an hour a week. And again, also, all of these, I wrote these bullets out, but to be honest, it changes because as time goes on, initially it doesn't take that long, but as time goes on, you're doing one trade a day. Maybe it's still about an hour a week. It doesn't take long to do these things, but the hardest part about it is actually having the discipline to walk away. Because I know when I'm in trades, I'm like, oh, watching it move, watching it. I want to get, and I love watching the increase and love watching taking profits, but really, you don't need to do that. You don't need to. So what I do is I just turn it off. I get in, place my trade, and I turn it off. But let's go ahead and show you exactly how to make that whole thing work, right? So let's go. So I call it the 25% profit rule. So how do I do it? I'm going to give you exactly the step-by-step strategy here. So first of all, what we're going to do is how we do this. So it's a credit spread. And how does it work? I'm going to show you how it works. In the next slide, I'm going to show you how to take the trade. So we do a 0.3 delta. And that automatically gives you a probability of roughly 70%. So right off the bat, the platform, the trading platform that we're using gives us our win rate. Now that's so amazing. We don't really have to worry about a lot of different things, how to find support and resistance. We can see that on the charts, but the platform actually gives it to us. So we know what our win rate's going to be right off the bat. The next thing I do is I go for a 25 to 50% profit target. And again, so that now, step one, just by doing the 30 delta, we're at a 70%. Step two, by going to 25 to 50%, that bumps our profit success rate to 85%. Now, I also do trending stocks that are moving in the right direction. That now bumps my winning rate to 90%. Okay, so just by doing step 1, 2, and 3, we are increasing our profit tremendously. And then the last one, I say 25% profit on the trade, but this is a 25% ROI or better, right? That even boosts us even more. And then lastly, continual deposit. So if you'll notice on that account that I showed you that had the 1,300%, the 1,400% return, these are the 5 techniques that did that, right? And so you can do those 5 by the end of this video. You're going to have the same results that I have, the same results that I'm teaching my students that are even doing better. This is what you can expect no matter what the market conditions. So you don't have to say, oh, options are risky, options are scary. This will teach you exactly how to do that. So let's just keep moving on here. All right, so now this is step 1, find a good trend. This is pretty easy to do here. And so what I recommend is this moving average. You see that? That is the 200. We want it to be above the 200 period. And I believe it's a simple, but people are always asking me, is it a simple or is it an EMA? It's an EMA, but really does it matter if you want to use simple? I mean, it can be easily switched over, okay? So we want to go with that. Then also we have the 50 right here. That's the 50. And so that's, again, the SMA, the 50. And I'm looking for that above both of those. And then the EMA, I want it to be slightly trended up. You can see also I have the 10 here. I want it above the 10. And in this situation, I have a little box. And so I'm like, okay, we're in a zone. I'm looking for it to box up and break out. When it breaks out, that's the ultimate trade, because the trend is rising. Like you see, we have a box here. So if we do that, that's the kind of stock that I'm looking for all the time. And I just follow my rules, and it's amazing how well it actually works and how well it increases my win rate. All right, so now let's take a look at the option chain. And this is the same stock you just saw. That was eBay, by the way. And so you can see we got the delta here at 32 and 25. What we do is we sell the one side, the 87.5, and I like to go out about 30 days and more, 30 to 45 days. The next, and then so we sell this one and we buy this one. See how it's a buy and sell? And so we collect the money in between. That's the difference between this price. And what this spread allows us to do is it allows us to use leverage to get in for very cheap. So the cost of this trade is actually $250. So we're able to trade this for a very low amount on your account, right? And so that's all we do. We find the delta at the 30, that increases our win rate. We find the winning trade, that increases our win rate, and then we buy and sell. That's what is a credit spread. That's how it works. All right, so now, the next thing is take a look. Remember I said that we needed a 25% ROI or higher? Well, if we look at this, this is a $78 gain right here. 78 is what we make on a 172 risk. So 172 is the risk, 78 is the gain. So we got risk and gain. So what is this? This is a roughly 45% ROI, right? 45%. So the rule is I have to do 25% or better. So that means if I risk $100, I got to make at least 25. That's a 25% ROI. Okay, but in this case, this is a 45% trade. This is an A+ trade. It's a high trend. The trend is moving. We did the 30 delta. Everything is exactly as we needed it to be. Now, again, so on this one, I got a $78 credit on this, but I'm going to take my profit at about 50%, 50 to 25% actually. And it depends on other things like how much cash flow I have, what's happening in the markets, other situations, how itchy I want to trade, whatever. But roughly, we're going to go for 50%. Here, 50% to 25. So what does that mean? At 50, we'll round this up to 80. We're going for a $40 to $20 profit. So anytime it gets to 20 to 40, I'm looking at closing and taking profit and moving to the next trade. And again, this is so beneficial, again, because why? Because, and I say again, I might not have actually told you this is the first time. It's so beneficial because we're rolling, right? If this is a 30-day trade, and I'm getting a 45% ROI in 30 days. That's awesome. But what if this thing spikes and in 2 days, right, 2 days, it hits a 50% profit target? Well, now I just made a 30% in 2 days instead of waiting the full 45. So that then gets the snowball effect going and it increases my profits over and over again. So I could run 3 30% winners, which would be a total of 90% in the 45-day process. And I apologize for my scribbles, but hopefully you're getting the gist of this. There's so much power in this system that's helping people replace their income with options. That's why I'm posting these videos. That's why I'm teaching this stuff. And that's why I'm very excited to see the success that I'm seeing in the markets, not just me, but other people. All right. Now, this is really interesting as well. And it's going to go a little bit deeper. If you want more information, hit me up and I'll make a video on this. But VIX, okay, VIX is the VIX, right? So VIX, what VIX means is it's the volatility. But what it actually means is that the lower the VIX, the lower the price of the option. So if the VIX is trading at 15, we could assume the option's going to get 25 cents, right? But now if this doubles to 30, now all of a sudden we could assume that the option price on this is now 50 cents. Okay, so as the VIX increases, your options are making more money, right? More money. But there's a problem with this. The VIX, and this is 40, you can't see it, my big fat head is there. But the VIX, as it goes up, usually that means the market is in bear mode, right? So if the VIX goes up, the market is in trouble, right? So how do we actually manage our risk? This is a risk management allocation. If the VIX is at 15, I'm risking 25% of my account, right? And so I'm making a little bit steady gains. But what happens is the market might dip like this. Assume that's the market. And when the market goes down, what happens to the VIX? The VIX goes up. Well, you're risking 25% of your account. But then up here, when the VIX is really high, over 40, we're now risking how much? 50% of our account. So as the market dips, we make a lot more money. I mean, we're making way, way, way more money. And so as the market dips, our returns are greater. So if a lot of times when it's 15, the market's going up and it's cruising, and we're making money hand over fist, clockwork. It's like, boom, every day you're making money. And I'm not trying to oversimplify this. Remember, trading is risky, especially if you don't know what you're doing. But if you're working with me, I make it a lot easier because I don't even think when I'm doing this stuff. It's just happening on autopilot. But anyways, assuming what happens here is you're just slowly making money, right? Let me redo this. You're slowly making money. Well, then when the VIX pops, the account might drop, right? So you start making money, but then all of these trades now are taking losses. And so you're losing. And well, the VIX goes up and we start risking a little bit more. So we always want to keep our cash. Here, we're only spending 25. You got $100, you want to keep 25 of it. Now, when your account is super tiny, you can't do this, right? You got to spend all of it early on. And that's unfortunate, but that's just the way it is because we don't have enough capital. But once your account hits 10,000 and above, you want to follow this rule very closely. 25%. Allocated. Now, I do some other things that I teach, but I'm not going to go into that in this video. But anyways, so as your account might be dropping because the VIX is getting scary, now you've got 50% more capital to apply. And since the options are more up here, you're now applying all of your capital. What happens is when the market does bounce, your win will take you up to even higher levels because of using this VIX formula that I have. It is remarkable. It's great. And obviously I didn't invent this. I just learned it from really, really smart people. People that I interviewed on my podcast. I got a podcast called How to Trade It and How to Replace Your Income with Options. I interviewed people. I met some of the world's greats and they taught me this. Actually, this strategy was taught to me by Tom Sosnoff and it has worked amazing. Okay. So that's what we got to do. So again, I do this. I teach my students live every Thursday with a live trade alert. I've got transparent tracking public results. I've been in the markets for 30 years and we've got a ton of student wins and testimonials. So just sharing all that to say, look, pay attention to this video, take action, make a change and start replacing your income for options because I built this for you. You know, I was in construction. I have lost it all. I was in a get rich quick situation. I was like, I need to get rich quick, but I ended up failing miserably. But I built a simple, repeatable process to replace your paycheck, and now it's calm, disciplined. It's execution over hype. It's for people like you. I'm helping other people do the same. I hope that this strategy has been helpful. If I missed something, let me know in the comments. If I was not clear, if I didn't teach the way I was supposed to teach, again, let me know. I know I talk kind of fast, but this is kind of exciting. It's still a 15-minute video. But if you want more information, check the video in the recommended that's right here. Check that. right above me because I have some great information on a deeper dive on some of this stuff. But hey, thanks a lot, and we'll see you very soon.